What is up, everybody? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to PCP Movie Night, the show where we gather every Monday night and discuss a movie. Right now, we're journeying through the Lord of the Rings Trilogy, and we bring you to week 2, so we're going to be talking about The Two Towers. The extended cuts, of course. There's my Blu-ray copy and my trusted DVD copy that we all have kept these things because they're just awesome. We got an awesome panel to talk about this movie tonight. It's the same panel from last week, including Jelani. What's up, homie?
Station got mine here too. This is the grail of all the three. I love this one more than I might like the other ones. This is a spoiler alert. This shit right here. That's all I gotta say. I'm glad to be here. We're talking about. Plus, I got my Gollum set up, so this is like the special edition that tells you about how they created Gollum and all the fun stuff. I think you get yours with the DVD set as well, I think. But I got one, and I love it. It's like a little sketchbook, too. On the side. Just wanted to show it off real quick. But yeah, it shows off all the cool things that Gollum is. And the 3D renderings. His face. Oh, it's amazing.
Very cool.
It's amazeballs.
Heck yeah. Speaking of amazeballs, we're also joined by the resident PCP token expert. It's Brooks the Magnificent. How you doing?
What's up?
Excited to talk about one of your favorite film franchises of all time?
Am I? I am. Spoiler alert. I am.
All right. Also, from the city so nice they had to name it twice, but he's actually, there's a bunch of different. Anyway, it's Fable. What's up, man? How you doing?
Station, y'all. Let the glazing continue.
Yeah, I'm sure. We also got Joe Corallo in the house. What's up, man?
It's true. It's Joe. I'm here. That's what's up.
That is what's up. We appreciate you being here. We also appreciate Missing Link being here. We have assembled the Fellowship again. In the movie The Two Towers, they may have broken and split apart the Fellowship, but we have gathered again. Wouldn't you say? What's up, Link? Thank you for being here.
Technology. Happy to be here. Yeah. Well, like the fellas have said with the glazing again, got fond memories of this one. Without going too far ahead, this is like my freshman year of high school. So like the hype, I remember the hype for this one even more so than the first one.
Heck yeah. So Fellowship comes out in 2001. It's a big hit. Everybody loves it. The very next year, because of the way they produce these movies all at once, we all know the story. I mean, especially all the fans, right? We've gobbled up all the special features on all the discs and watched all the TV specials and watched the movie forwards and backwards and all that kind of stuff. But after the success of Fellowship, right after this, the next year, The Two Towers. And I remember liking it. And I remember liking it a lot. But it's been a while since I've watched these movies, right? And so I'm like, that's the one where, of course, Helm's Deep and Gollum. And I'm like, yeah, I think I remember that one being pretty solid. But I think Fellowship was my favorite. Man, I don't know. Two Towers, this time watching, it's like the most I've ever appreciated this movie. Like, I loved it. I was sucked in from the get-go, the way it picks right up. I love how it does go back a little bit to show you a little bit more about what happened with Gandalf and the Balrog to set up the return of Gandalf. However, when Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas are like on the run after those orcs, it's just like it's more exciting than a montage in a Rocky film, right? It's like that freaking awesome. It doesn't even need any cheesy music. I'm riveted. I watched it as soon as the first disc ended. I popped the next one right in. I was just like sucked in. The Gollum stuff is always cool. I think a lot of the special effects hold up. There's some compositing stuff, that like doesn't age very well, but never forget how groundbreaking this stuff was at the time. And man, I'm telling you what, I forgot how much I love the Battle of Helm's Deep. I forgot how badass that shit was. The build up to it. I remember being kind of annoyed that they like added in like this whole other like group of people, like the Rohan people, right? But man, no, I'm sucked in because now that I know the story and I've dived deeper into things lately. I've kind of gotten stuck down the rabbit hole of Tolkien and Middle Earth, to be honest with you, the last couple of weeks. And now that I'm understanding more, I'm like, oh no, they're showing like the spread and the battles. Like I never really care. Like, I don't know, for some reason I'm just like, get to the ring, you know, take the ring to the thing. And like, I don't know, man, there's more nuance than I think more nuance that I picked up just in the storytelling and the world building and how they're setting everything up and showing the decay of, and finally understanding the map, I guess, of like understanding that like the Kingdom of Man is like right there next to Mordor. And it's not something I don't know. This was freaking awesome. It was so awesome. Everything was so big and epic, and Treebeard and everybody gets split apart, and that could kind of like make or break a movie like this. But for me, it works. I loved it then. I love it more now. This movie's badass, man. I'm sorry. Let the glazing continue. Laney, what do you think, man, overall?
This movie is gorgeous. I love this movie. I haven't watched Return of the King yet, but I remember watching this like 3 times in the theater. How good this movie was. There's something about you're right. The world building, the way that they split up the characters, and it doesn't make the story trash. They make Merry and Pippin useful. It's so many little nuances. Gollum, the way he looks, the music is still fantastic. It's still, oh my God. This is the one that blew me away because I was hyped about this one when it came out. I saw it the Thursday night before. I remember this. Watched the Thursday night before, watched it the rest of the time. Oh God. It was one of those films that was like, I loved the Battle of Helm's Deep. I loved the way the orcs looked. I'm still impressed by how the orcs are just so individual, and yet they're still a uniform force. I love the battle. I love the orc with the firecracker thing that starts the bomb that blows up the sewer in Helm's Deep. I love that scene for some just odd reason. It's one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
It's like a guy running with the Olympic torch.
Yes.
Almost.
He's just running and like he's getting, Legolas is just nailing him. He's still going. It's like he knows what he's
like the one time Legolas can't one-shot kill a guy.
Right. Can't do it. He was pissed too. And like the competition between Legolas and Gimli. There's so many little nuances in this film as opposed to the others for me that like it blows my mind. I love Two Towers. I love the return of Gandalf, how he comes back, how the fight with the extra fight with Balrog, like you mentioned. There's so much shit in this movie because my heart like skipped a beat. And even though I read it, I was like, Gandalf comes back and he's white and he's awesome. And he's just, it's so beautiful. I'm done.
Brooks, what about you? What do you think about the Two Towers overall, man?
Yeah, this one, like, you know, like back when it first came out, like I didn't really think, but you know, this movie really could have, like, you know, was the make or break point of the trilogy. You know, like if this movie hadn't hit, like, you know, it probably would have derailed the final or cheapened the final movie at best. And like the fact that they stuck the landing on it, like, you know, it gave us hope, you know. It gave us hope in these dark times that perhaps we could be free of the influence of bad movies. And yeah, it's like, you know, when I talk about the Lord of the Rings movies, it's hard to pick a favorite for me. I usually go with Return of the King just because it has like a lot of the best battles and stuff. It has some of my favorite scenes. But like every movie has, like, you know, as quality wise are pretty much equal. And, you know, it's cool that this one maintains that. And you know, it also has, like, you know, the issue of the breaking of the Fellowship has basically splintered the narrative into like 3 different paths. You know, you have Merry and Pippin over here, you have Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli over here, and then you have Frodo and Sam here. And in the end, like, you know, Pippin and Merry eventually kind of merge back into the thing, but you know, Sam and Frodo, they're still going their own way. But yeah, I love the you the whole fight scene with Gandalf and the Balrog. Like, of course that's not in the books. Like, Tolkien didn't write this badass fight scene of Gandalf falling down a chasm and fighting the Balrog. But like, I think that's the great thing about when you have an artist that can take creative liberties, but also like really loves the subject matter. So we didn't care that it wasn't in the fucking book. It was fucking awesome. Like watching Gandalf like fucking falling down this chasm, fighting this Balrog while they're fucking like falling. It's like, it's just so good, man. Like,
it emphasized how
pace, like, you don't have any setup, you're right in it, like, shit's going, at this point. And like, it has the first real big battle too. Like, not just like, the Fellowship fighting a bunch of orcs, but like, two big ass armies at Helm's Deep, which, you get more of in the next movie, but and it's an awesome fight too. Like, it's like so great, man. Like, I'm gushing.
It's
bro.
one of the best I can remember. One of the best battles I can remember in just my memory right now of having seen, where everything is so easy to follow.
Yeah.
The strategies and the characters' journeys through this battle, and you can see everything.
Yeah, even though it's dark.
Who knew?
Yeah, I loved it. Like, I remember I had the PlayStation 2 video game that they made. Which
Hell yeah. Yeah,
like,
it was that was a great game.
Yeah, like in the Two Towers was one where you're on the Helm's Deep wall and you have to kick the ladders down to keep the orcs from coming up and stuff. Like, yeah, those games were fun as hell.
Heck yeah. So you like it. You like the Two Towers.
It's pretty good.
All right. What about you, Fable? What do you think about the Two Towers?
This movie continues greatness, man. It's the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy, man. It gets dark. The first one started all lighthearted and the Shire and everything's fun and games, and this one just goes right into like grim. People defeated. They're on their last leg. What is so amazing about this film to me is how it continues the journey of our heroes from the first movie, but it also manages to introduce a whole lot of new characters and get you to, sympathize, empathize, hate, whatever, these new characters. And then the visual tour de force that this movie is. I mean, you guys talk about the Battle of Helm's Deep. None of that shit is real. None of it. The fucking castle, the fucking horde, the people fighting. I mean, this shit was completely put together from all sorts of special effects. If that doesn't amaze you, no matter how dated it might look, it's an incredible feat. And at the budget that they had, it puts all other of these big special effects movies to shame when you watch something like this. I mean, Wetaworks, I said the first one was their coming out party. This was their fucking stamp on the industry, putting people on notice that a new guy was in town, you know what I mean? And they were not to be fucked with. And if you don't know that, you just look at Smeagol. Golem, I mean, captured everyone. I remember at the time people were saying this guy should be nominated for an Academy Award. They were actually like vying for him to get nominated. And it was like, but he's a digital character. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. The performance is fantastic, and you got to give it up to the people at Wetaworks and Peter Jackson. This movie is part 1 times 2, man, for sure. I love it.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, dude. And Weta was like groundbreaking, like industry changing technology. First, that I think it was called Massive, the program they wrote where they could like have like a crowd of people all moving, like, and everybody's like independently moving and not like in some kind of weird pattern or something. And then just Gollum, like you were saying, dude, like that was astonishing in 2002.
Gollum, the fucking the Warrogs or whatever they're called, the Wolf.
They looked like
Riders, the
in those days.
elephants.
I was like, I've
ants,
never seen anything look so real. That's not
went
real.
crazy.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe? What do you think about the Two Towers?
Oh yeah, no, it's really great, crazy, right? But it's hard to add too much to what everyone said because like what else has there need to be said? But I was talking about this with a friend earlier. This is also the series that really put New Zealand on the map as a serious place to film movies, because before this, they did a lot of filming in New Zealand, a lot, and no one ever talked about it, ever. And over 20 years later, if anyone mentions New Zealand, it's one of the first things that person thinks about. Oh, they shot the Lord of the Rings movies there. Like, that's not a thing that typically happens. I mean, the closest I can think of to this is that everyone thinks of Iceland when they hear Bjork. But like, you know, other than that, it's like there's not a lot of other comparable, I think, examples of something like that. You know, I do also want to refute. I know Brooks was saying, you know, there were a lot of bad movies that came out in 2002, but how could you say that about the year that The Hot Chick came out? Ghost Ship.
Narc came out that year. That was a good movie.
Hot Chick was the shit.
Halloween Resurrection came out that
Ooh,
year.
come on, Busta Rhymes drop kicking Michael Myers, bro. It doesn't get better.
Panic Room. Remember Panic Room?
Yeah.
But no.
Surely there's like at least there's something else good in 2002, right?
No, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. That's like the other.
Okay.
That's it.
But
man, what a year, man! We didn't even realize it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But yeah, no, it's crazy what the Lord of the Rings did to you know, New Zealand. I mean, I got to tell you, I can't think of the last time someone came to New York and told me they had to go to the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company.
That's
true. So that's a pretty big, but yeah, I think it does a great job at both being darker but also funnier. This is a funnier movie than Fellowship.
Yeah.
And out of like, I don't know, like there are tense and scary moments in Fellowship, but like for whatever in this, like when it gets dire, it's really dire. Like the Battle of Helm's Deep is dire in a way that, you know, nothing was really in the first movie. And that's by design, you know, that's how you build a story. It would be weird if it was like, oh, they put everything in the first one and then they were like, whatever. So I mean, it is well paced. They really ramp everything up in just the right way. I remember getting out of this movie, I think every single person probably watching as well as on the panel thought to themselves, after the Battle of Helm's Deep, how is anything going to top that in the next
Yeah.
Like kind of being like, wait a minute, there's like more after that that's going to be that's crazy. So yeah, I mean it introduces so many characters, so many. The only like ding I would probably give this movie is, I think out of the like 3 original songs from a known artist that did a song, this might have been the weakest one, but that's like kind of it, which I don't think is bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. What about you, Link? What do you think about the Two Towers?
Yeah, it's epic movie. It somehow stands on its own while being the bridge to connect the overall trilogy. Like Brooks stated earlier, or I believe it was Brooks, there's a lot banking on this one. Can it hold up to the first one? And like Joe just mentioned, like how do you top the Battle of Helm's Deep? Like there's more, and it set everything up so perfectly. Well, and I did appreciate like the humor and stuff like that, like the rapport between Legolas and Gimli got a lot of. He was probably my favorite character in this movie. Just shout out to him. He had a lot of quips, a lot of one-liners. I loved when he was talking about the dwarf women and stuff like that. Why people don't believe there's dwarf women. The attention to detail. Jelani brought that up earlier. Excellent attention to detail. There was the battle with the Ents. there's one that gets like set on fire with like fire arrows and shit like that, and like they cut away, and they, you know, when they break the dam and it starts flooding everything, you see the ant that was on fire like running into the water. Yeah, like that shit was so cool. Like I've always appreciated that. But yeah, this is just really what more can we say? It's a great example of filmmaking, a great example of being a sequel while holding its own. This is a sick ass movie. Just dope.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
This is a sick ass movie. I swear, dude, when they do the next like 4K big ass box set, that's the quote they need to put right there. Sick ass movie. Missing link.
Yeah.
Seriously, it is. These are some sick ass movies, dude. Like I don't know, man. It's just been so long since I've watched them again that I'm astonished. I'm astonished, man.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
And
like,
watch them on the biggest screen you could possibly find. Like if you got a big screen, or if you can get access to a big screen, watch this shit there because it's so big.
Yeah,
it deserves it.
And you know what? Next time they do some kind of like anniversary, you know, screening or something at the theater, bruh, this is definitely something to go back and re-experience in the theater. But it's got some great characters. It's got some returning characters, and it's got a whole bunch of new characters with similar names. I'm not going to let anybody steal mine, so I'm going to kick us off, and I'm going to go with Wormtongue, which I absolutely love him. It's Brad Dourif. First of all, big fan, because not only is he the voice of Chucky, and I mean the voice of Chucky. Like, people talk about Robert Englund, the only guy who ever just played. No, don't forget Brad Dourif is the only Chucky, because we don't count the Mark Hamill one. Check out our Chucky franchise review, and you'll find out why. I don't think any of us like that one, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, also, Brad Dourif also happens to be in the greatest psychological thriller of the 90s, The Exorcist 3. So that's cool. And he's great in the movie. He looks so nasty. He's so skeevy. And he's just
looked exactly how I imagined him looking when I read the book.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I bet. His name is
Wormtongue.
He's so freaking good in that movie, and he's just there for a little bit, but it's always stuck in my head. So I really love his performance. I gotta give a shout out to Brad Dourif, the man, the myth, the legend. What about you, Jelani? What's a performance you want to highlight?
There's so many. I'm gonna pick two because it's cool, and basically it's one person anyway. It's Merry and Pippin. It made Merry and Pippin useful in this movie. Like I said before, they are a cohesive unit in this bad boy, and they still argue. And I feel like one of them is me. This is how I would go through the Lord of the Rings trilogy, as either Merry or Pippin, just fucking shit up, just whatever. But also when it's time to be serious, when they're having the council and they're there trying to sway Treebeard and the others to fight, I love that scene. There's something about it. I love Treebeard too, but Merry and Pippin just get it for me. And especially at the end when, like, all is said and done, they're standing in the water and they see the pantry with all the food. Something about that, the floating turkey and the floating apples, and all of a sudden they walk and they see the rest of the food and the greatest weed in all the Shire. I think that's one of the coolest scenes in this entire movie. It feels like a payoff to what you just witnessed. And I love their characters. I hated them in the first movie, but the first time I ever saw this, I was like, I fucking hate them. I want them to die. But I know they don't. I just wanted them to die in this movie because they were so fucking annoying. And then they turn around in the next movie and step it up. And it's so clean. It's just, that
council scene with the ants
is
like super crucial to like their characters, because I think it really defined them in that particular moment. Because, like, you know, was Pippin the taller one? The Pippin was Dominic, the one on Lost, or
Mary was Dom Monaghan. Okay. Pippin was Billy Boyd.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, Mary, he's trying to like voice reason to the ants, and they're like, well, you know, we don't really give a fuck, you know, it doesn't really have to do with that, anything to do with us. And it's like Pippin using like his simple logic that gets the ants to travel south, like, you know, and it's just a like simple request. You know, it sounds stupid, and you know, because he's a hobbit.
How immediate is the effect too? Because even if the council does decide to help, who knows where the story would go then? This directly brings them to Isengard, and without Isengard falling at that same time, like the story could play out differently. So it's very crucial.
Right.
And that's something that I think Tolkien did so well in the story is every's important.
That's an important part.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Even though most of this, apparently most of the filming of the movie, they're just in this like animatronic like tree. It's just sitting there, just like bouncing up and down, up and down.
Treebeard makes it. Treebeard makes it. He is the animation on him is amazing. Like to this day, it's so awesome. And like the fact that they put all this together, I would put them as a trio for this movie, but I'm not going to do that.
Takes me back to the never ending story, the rock guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Brooks, what about you? I know you got a performance you want to highlight.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I think Christopher Lee's Saruman, he got a little bit more in this movie, and I think he has you know, the problem with the villains in the Lord of the Rings is that the main villains, Sauron and Saruman, they don't really go out into the battles as much. So like, you know, they're always in one place. Like, you know, Saruman never leaves Isengard. He's always in the tower.
Right.
But like when you do see him, like, it's great. Like, you know, especially when him and Wormtongue start interacting. Like, I love the way he like treats him like, you know, like a dog. Like, you know,
stand back, you smell of horse.
Yeah, that was one of my buddies. Like, he used to love saying that line to me all the time. It's a horse. He's a real funny guy. But yeah, like Saruman, like, you know, for what he gets, like, I do love this in this movie, and he is kind of the driving force behind the main threat, actually, because, like, you know, it's the Uruk-hai of Isengard that are the ones attacking Helm's Deep, while Sauron's guys are attacking Osgiliath and Gondor. So yeah, like, you know, Christopher Lee, great actor, and like, you know, I really wish they could have like put more Saruman in this movie, but you know, there's only really so much you can do with him.
I know, man. And in fact, even isn't his final scene, which is at the beginning of Return of the King, wasn't that like way truncated or not even in the theatrical cut?
He wasn't even in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, that's so like,
wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yep. Christopher Lee, man, nailing it, bruh. Nailing it, dude.
Every day.
Yeah,
anyway, he's filming he films these movies and he jumps over and does some fucking Star Wars bullshit, man. Imagine like how he felt. He's like,
he was great in Star Wars. I love Count Dooku.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fine, but that character, there's nothing for there's nothing for him to do with that character, man. Not really. Anyway, what about you? Who's your favorite character outside of Count Dooku, Fable?
I mean, it's got to be Andy Serkis as Gollum. Andy Serkis, to me, put in the best performance in this entire film. So much to the point where he set a precedent for digital characters going forward, and he became a great actor in his own right. Whenever he wasn't playing a digital character, he was the bad guy in fucking Black Panther. Remember?
And Claw.
Yeah, he's
fantastic. Claw. Yeah.
And he in the 8 movies, right? He's
he's Caesar in the Planet of the Apes, also done by Weta Workshop. Yeah.
He directed Venom 3.
We don't talk about that. But no, Andy Serkis, incredible job. And you know, they face captured him for this, so a lot of the facial expressions you see on Gollum is him. It's not just them, you know, animating something. It's actually his face. And
he's there on set performing with Elijah Wood.
And shout out to Andy Serkis. He directed one of my favorite games for
that character. Like Gollum had to be
Enslaved. This game called Enslaved. He did like that. Yes. He had something to do with it. Like, I think he was like the visual creative director for that game. But and Alex Garland wrote the game, so you know it's got a nice combination. It's very unique. Super underrated. Yeah, shout out to Andy Serkis. Yeah.
Super underrated game. But yeah, Andy Serkis. I mean that part where he's talking to himself is so good. Where it's like, no, we tricked them. We stomped their eyes out.
Smeagol and Gollum. Yeah.
And those whole ticks, those. And, you know, like all the little things that he does is that
Throat shit. It's like, get it out,
fantastic. Yeah. I love Andy Serkis in this film so much. And I love that character so much because of him. So yeah, that has to be my favorite.
Yeah, he's great. He was initially just going to be cast. They were just looking for a voice actor, but because of his intense performance that he did in his audition, that's what gave Peter Jackson the idea of bringing him on set and actually having him be the character. I think it's pretty cool. What about you, Joe? What's a performance you want to highlight?
Bernard Hill Theoden, I think is another standout. Really redeems himself after crashing the Titanic those years ago.
That's right. He plays a type, doesn't he, man? You're like, this ship will never sink. This fortress will never fall.
He really does, but he does a great, like, you know, again, like Andy Serkis, really steals the show, but in terms of like some of the more underrated bits, I would say his turning on a dime from the, possessed version of himself to being the grieving father and then defending his people and all of that, always coming off as like stubborn and unmovable. He really sells it. So yeah, I'm going with Bernard Hill.
That's a really good pick. I love that dude, man. He's great in this movie.
He really is.
And the more and more I watch it, the more and more I'm like so into him and his performance and everything surrounding it, man. Love it. What about you, Link? What's a performance you'd like to highlight, sir?
Oh yeah, shout out to Gimli. I forget the actress, Peter, right? Peter something. Peter where?
Jonathan Rhys Davis.
Yeah, Jonathan Rhys Davis.
So,
of Sliders.
Jonathan Rhys Davis.
Also voiced Treebeard.
Oh, he wasn't Sliders.
Yeah.
Oh, he did the voice Treebeard. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Wow. So yeah, I think
it's his C.S. Lewis impression because apparently Treebeard was based on C.S. Lewis. Is that right, Brooks?
Oh.
I think it seemed like Tolkien did put like a lot of C.S. Lewis, like his friends, into his characters in these books. So Treebeard possibly could be a C.S. Lewis. I'm not 100% on that though.
Well, shout out to all that. But yeah, I just really thought he brought the heat as Gimli. A lot of the funniest lines in this movie come from Gimli. One of my favorites is when after the battle at Helm's Deep, him and Legolas are like racking up scores, comparing scores, and he's like, I got 42, and Gimli's like, well, I got 43, and Legolas shoots it, and he's like, he's twitching, and he's like, that's because my axe is in his nervous system, and he like picks his axe up. And it was just a lot of great lines from Gimli.
Yeah. Glad you mentioned that, because in that moment I'm thinking, are they aware of what a nervous system is?
Yeah.
that is one of the more common critiques you'll see people point out when they're pointing to like inaccuracies or things like that in the movie.
But yeah, I appreciate a lot of his humor.
Another great one is toss me.
Boss man.
He's like, don't mention a word to the elf. Not a word.
Even as Treebeard, when he's like, the Ents have decided. and
he falls asleep and shit.
That's great.
So good.
All right, let's talk about the style and structure. I mean, I'm going to be pretty much mirroring what I said last week, man. The style of this movie is great. It looks fantastic. The use of the set. So when production got to this part of filming, they literally had to split everybody apart, right? So they had to add different units, and they were all going out there. And Peter Jackson was only on certain locations at certain times, and he would they had the satellite stuff hooked up so that he could hook satellite in and give them guidance on where. I mean, it was overwhelming. The thought of putting this all together, and they did. It all works together so well. It comes together. It's flawless in its visuals. The special effects took a huge leap forward. I think the movie is tightly edited, even the long extended edition. It's just riveting. Like I said, it completely hooked me, and just drug me through, man. And the use of the scenery, all these different locations, showing the beauty of Middle Earth through the beauty of New Zealand and the beauty of the technology, the paintings, matte paintings they were doing. The fact that Helm's Deep is so well crafted and put together and structured for you, the viewer, the audience member, to really be able to soak every bit of information you need in, to have everything lit so well, look so well, so many characters, have a great balance, splitting them up, introducing new things, keeping it interesting, and the main thread of the story of the ring and Frodo and Sam trying to get to Mount Doom is still there. And that, even though we barely touched on it, is some of the best stuff in the movie too, is seeing that ring eat Frodo up and seeing Sam have to start maintaining that positivity. It was opposite in the beginning of Fellowship. Sam was the one like, oh, I don't know, Mr. Frodo. Mr. Frodo would have to assure Sam. And now we know where this is going. And it's just, you see that relationship, and then Gollum and everything. I love it. And I know that they changed the character. Go ahead.
Sorry, shout out to that. The whole Gollum, Sam, Frodo trio. It was interesting. It was like, with Gollum, Smeagol along, it was like Frodo was looking at a future mirror image or a possible alternative to himself if he didn't let it go, while Sam was, he was the Shire, what you will, like, if you let the ring go, you'll stay what you are, which is a lovely hobbit. But it was an interesting.
So great when Frodo says, "I have to believe that that there's hope for him," right? Like that's that's cool. And I know that the character Faramir is different in the book, and like doesn't get tempted by the ring or anything like that. They don't do that whole side trip to whatever that city is. Osgiliath, is that what it is? Yeah. So I know, but I do think that, because if you've watched all the special features, obviously, in this, when they talk about the story, they were talking about like they needed some drama there because they didn't want to get to the spider yet, because chronologically it doesn't happen at the time of Helm's Deep. So I think that adds. I think they added things in that I'm aware of and changed things from the book to make it work. Because also the book is like kind of split in two different stories that are just one story's told and then the other story's told, right? And the way they kind of fold it all together, I think it's structured perfectly, and I think it looks beautiful. What about you, Jelani?
Yeah, I completely agree. Everything you just said, it makes total sense that New Zealand is the backdrop for this, because it is beautiful. It is gorgeous.
Gorgeous country.
Fact that, it's a beautiful country. But it's paced so well for an extended cut. On top of that, like it feels better. I think it's better paced than the Fellowship of the Ring in a lot of different ways. It just, I don't know, it flows easier. It is funnier. Thanks, dude. It's one of those films where you can watch it and you would get it even if you didn't see the first one. It feels that way. Like you get an idea of what happened in the previous one immediately when they tell what happened again.
Galadriel shows up and has her like fucking telepathic phone call with Elrond.
Right.
In the one moment where you're like, what?
I need to have that. That was cool.
It was, man.
They have so many cool shit. There's so much cool shit in this movie. I like how, I like how the three, the Gimli, Aragorn, and Legolas, how they come together, that running pace, that montage that we do have. I love that scene when they're panned out. This has a lot more panned out shots too, and I really appreciated that. But that scene where they're running and they get the full scale of where they are, bruh. I mean, you're just taken aback by how pretty it looks. It's so much to look at. And then, of course, the Battle of Helm's Deep, which is way better than anything Game of Thrones did in the 8th season, as far as lighting and contrast, and seeing that there's natural light that can shine on things, that make things shiny, that work for a shot. They knew how to compose the shot well. I will say, as far as the style, the main thing that we always need to mention is Gollum. Gollum is the best. He's a technological achievement. He didn't his color scheme in the light wasn't as good as it should have been. Like, it's a little dated. But that's my only problem. I don't have any problems past that. There's certain shots where he just doesn't look like he's there. But then the rest of the time, he is right there with you. And it feels like that character was crafted in such a way. And you see Andy Serkis in this video where he's got the dot matrix stuff on his face and he's wearing the costume and he's doing all the movements. And it's so impressive that they were actually able to pull this off so well. It's just, there's so much about this film. And the main thing is Gollum and how they presented it. Because, he's only teased in Fellowship. He's not really there. But in this one, you see him. You experience his character. You feel him. And it's one of those things that really is the crux of the film. It's so important that this little bastard gets his precious.
Yeah.
So the fact that they have him matted the way they do, the way he looks in this film, oh my God. And of course it sets up everything that comes later. And especially in Marvel, sometimes to its detriment, and they did it for less money, like we said, or like it was mentioned. But
it's incredible.
It is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. I love this film, and I love the pacing of it, and I love the style. Style and structure are unmatched.
Oh yeah, Brooks, what you think?
Yeah, this movie, it keeps, like I said, it keeps up the pace, and it has the advantage of, like I said, we're in the action, things are moving along. It expands Middle Earth more. You see the big rolling plains of Rohan. We get a new kind of guy with the Rohirrim, and a little bit of Gondor too. Not as much, but a little bit. And I like that they threw in the little flashback with Boromir and Faramir in there. And I think that what they did with Faramir makes him a lot more interesting, honestly, than what he was in the book. In the book, I think Tolkien didn't really give Faramir a whole lot. It's just like he's just an incorruptible guy. And, he's not as interesting as this guy who's like, he has these issues with his father and, he's mourning the loss of his brother. Like, him and his brother obviously had this like deep connection and they really did care about each other. But, their father is like, definitely favors Boromir more to put it mildly. But yeah, like, it opens, you get a little bit of Mordor, not quite in there, but I love the Dead Marshes. The Dead Marshes look great. I love
they do.
Falls in and
the faces,
the corpses. Yeah, it's great. Like, they keep up. It's like, the quality stays the same. Like, I love the music in it too. Like, and I think they do a good job of weaving like, these three stories together. They have the split, but they weave the stories up, like, so you don't stay too long on Sam and Frodo. And then you get a little bit of Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and then you get a little bit of Merry and Pippin. And so it doesn't feel like, you don't get bogged down and be like, oh man, like I feel like I've been, too long with Sam and Frodo. I wonder what Aragorn's doing. Like, I think they do a good job of not making you feel like, oh man, I wish I was, watching these characters instead, because, everybody gets, I think they timed it well.
And because they also give other scenes room to breathe. Like once they start building up to Helm's Deep, once they get there, they really stay with it for a while until they cut away for a moment. And they're very small cuts when they do cut away.
Yeah. And like, he does a good job of like, early on showing, when Sauron's armies are starting to move, like, you see the villages, like, the villagers, and like, see them having to run away and like, kind of they have to run away from this invading army, and it kind of builds that tension. It makes the Battle of Helm's Deep like, feel more impactful. Like,
yeah.
And, even when they get to Helm's Deep, you see them like recruiting kids, like, these kids with like these oversized helmets and, shields and stuff. And so, yeah, it ramps up like, how dire things are getting with, because like, this is where like Sauron and Saruman, they really start moving. This is where the snowball starts rolling down the hill, and it's only going to get even like worse from there. But like, you know, that when you get to Helm's Deep, it's like, you know, man, it's like the darkest. But then when, you know, Gandalf comes over that hillside and Eomer's right beside him, it's like, man, dude, just like, you know, just great cinema, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And they don't do something stupid like have like some kind of random ass subplot about somebody you never met who's like within the battle, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. They don't do anything stupid like that. Like every fuck,
like the family in the Justice League.
Exactly. I'm kind of thinking about that, right? Like, what about you?
What about that movie in years?
What do you think about the style and the structure?
Oh, well, style is, you know, it's a continuation of part one, all the mastery, all the artistry, all the carpentry, everything that they did for part one, you know, on a whole nother level. I couldn't imagine being the production manager or the art director of this film, having to put the shit that they wanted to achieve in it. Like, we talk about Golem in itself is just like a task, right? Like, how do we make this character blend in with everybody else and believable? That in itself is fucking amazing. Without Golem, we don't get Thanos. Talk about Marvel movies, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think it was the Gollum that was the direct inspiration that made James Cameron think that it was time that he could make Avatar or something, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
But you know, you got Golem, you got the, like he said, the dead marshes with the ghosts. That's a whole nother effect that we gotta achieve. The fucking trees, the Ents, and all of that, and them going to war, and how that is gonna fucking play out. The Wraiths are back, but now they're flying dragons and shit. Like fucking incredible shit. Like the elephants. He's like, it's an elephant, Frodo. It's just fucking amazing. The wolf riding thing, those wolves that they were fucking riding, the orchard riding.
Wargs.
Putting that battle together, and then the hordes, right? Like the hordes of people in the Helm's Deep battle and all the battles, whatever, where you have hundreds or thousands of soldiers. Just I could not imagine. So style is just like to the next level. Structure also amazing because, like I said, we're following our original characters, and like you guys just said, they all get time to breathe. They all get their moments. We were talking about John Rhys-Davies being the comedic, you know, thing, and they gave him his jokes, his relationship with Legolas. Even Viggo Mortensen has like a new love interest kind of thing going on, like a love triangle thing going on. But then we get, you know, like the king, the king of Rohan. Who we just talked about. We get we get Carl Urban, who I fucking totally forgot was in this movie. Like
Carl Urban's the man, bro. He's been in so many great things.
And then he left for a while, and then he came back, and then you're like, Carl Urban again. Yeah.
You get Brad Dourif as Wormtongue. You even get John Noble as fucking the King of Gondor in a scene. Yeah. It's like all these guys were
Steward of Gondor. Gondor does not yet have a king.
So you know, how do you continue the plot threads of part one while introducing all these new characters, giving them their time to shine, because you have to love these characters. You got to fall in love with Golem, you got to fall in love with Aramir and Faramir and Dermamir and Dumapir and whoever the fuck that is, right?
All the mirrors.
Gormamir, look like Digimon and shit, man.
So it is an incredible feat of editing and pace and all of that, and to fit it in a 3-hour movie, which again, like I said, man, when it comes to special effects, pace and editing puts a lot of other motherfuckers to shame, and it's incredible feat that they pulled off with this one. All three of these movies, really, but yeah.
Absolutely. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with this movie, it sort of just reinforces for me that, especially since these were all like shot at the same time, more or less, that like this is paced as one piece of media. Because, you know, I know some people were talking about like pacing like Fellowship and comparing, but it's hard to because of how it was shot and put together. Like this wasn't even like a Star Wars, where there was time away and coming back and reworking it. Like, you care, like Helm's Deep doesn't just work because of the structure of the first movie. It works because of the structure of Fellowship. You needed to spend a lot of time in the Shire to understand what they were giving up. You had to spend a lot of time with the elves to understand, like, last chance, guys, like, this could be someone else's problem. And like, it all makes it improves the pacing, each of the movies there. People brought up before, like, how it started with the death of, or the thought death of Gandalf, and there is enough referencing what had happened in the past throughout in a way that doesn't really drag the movie down, but does make it so, hey, I haven't seen the movie in a year, I didn't see it since the last one, catch me up. So it's great to see them pull that off. That is hard to do without messing up the pacing of your film. I think we can all think of so many examples of, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 comes to mind. But
That's supposed to be Silent Night, Deadly Night.
But yeah, style and structure just works so well together, and it works really well as a unit, just connecting the movies.
Hell yeah. Link, what you got to add?
Style and structure, or Helm's Deep. I think that like sums it up in terms of like, in terms of style. Like this movie, mind you, like this movie is entirely, or most of the battle is like 95% of the battle is like a nighttime, and it feels like it's at night. The world feels like it's lived in. Like these places they're inhabiting, the costumes they're wearing, it feels like this is everyday garb. Like this doesn't feels like costumes. Like a recent movie I've seen similar to the costume or visual identity of this movie, that Dungeons and Dragons movie with Chris Pine came out like I think it's Chris Pine, came out cut like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's funny, it's entertaining, but you just feel like costumes, those feel like sets. This world feels lived in.
Does the same thing.
Yeah. Witcher, yep.
Doesn't look like it's there.
But and in terms of the structure, like phenomenal. Like, mind you, the theatrical version was probably like 3 hours, close to 3 hours. This was 4 hours. Let's 3 hours 50, probably 3 hours and 30 minutes, 20 minutes of credits and shit like last time. But mind you, like this movie doesn't it's got a lot right in on its plate in terms of it being a sequel, and it does have a lot of moments where it lets like these characters breathe and take in what they're fucking going through. But at the same time, it doesn't miss a beat when it comes to like a battle, or as we don't, like Brooks stated earlier, we don't spend too much time on each character. It's good at switching around the moving plates or palettes, whatever. And this 4 hours, and it doesn't ever feel like man, when is this movie going to be over with? You're always left wanting more. After fucking 3 hours and 55 minutes, whatever, you still want more of this. I loved it. Thought it was phenomenal. Great.
Hell yeah. This movie feels quicker than some shorter movies I've watched recently. Yes. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Fuck. Let's talk about the music again. It's Howard Shore again. A lot of the same music that he was doing in Fellowship, but now he gets to recontextualize some of those themes. He gets to add in some new bits representing new cultures and new characters, and he does it so freaking well. The music in Helm's Deep is great, right? And it fires you up. And the music with Gollum, like he kind of puts this, like when Gollum first shows up, there's this like weird eerie twist on the Shire theme, right? And that's super cool. And I just got my favorite music piece in this is the Dead Marshes. Like the music in that bit is chilling and epic and scary in all of the best ways. Howard Shore, I think this might, mean, I know everybody loves John Williams' Star Wars, but this might be the best composed trilogy as far as music goes. I would say. I don't know. In cinema, I don't know. Jelani, what do you think about the music in the film?
It's awesome. Ain't no notes, man. It's one of those things where we say it a lot. The music is a character in the film, and it works very well because of it. It's you're right about the marsh. Oh my god, I forgot about that music. That's amazing music. It's haunting and it's eerie at the same time. It does a lot. And that was Bjork at the end for the soundtrack, right?
No, it was someone it was someone who kind of sounds like I think like I don't think she was as big as like Enya or Annie Lennox. It was like,
I think didn't they want Bjork to do it and then she couldn't or something like that?
Couldn't do it.
Have you guys ever seen that movie she's in? It came out like 2005, 2006. It's really it's neat. I can't even begin to describe it to you, but I just remember I saw it like when I was 17, 18, but I just remember being completely mind fucked. She did the soundtrack for that. I remember believing she was like married to the director who did the movie, but she did the soundtrack for that, and it was super fucking like trippy. Just Bjork's an interesting character.
Yeah, no, she's nuts. I love her. I just listened to Post like yesterday. So
wow. That makes sense.
I've never really listened to Bjork, man. I've never really listened to Bjork. All right,
she's got her moments. But whatever that is, whoever sang that damn song at the end, that's on fire. Ooh, bruh, I need to look that up and find out. But that song right at the end, oh god,
a Gollum song.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful, and like it caps it for me because it's better than I think it's better than music from the Fellowship. So I gotta watch Return of the King again. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I don't remember any of these damn songs. I guess I always just skedaddled as soon as those credits.
I watched 30 minutes of credits, man. I watched 30 minutes of credits because it's like the music is worth it, and it's 30 minutes, and it's just running, and you're just like music's playing, and you're like, all right, I can do other stuff.
You gotta let it unpack.
But it's good. That soundtrack is fire. So I'm impressed at the score and I'm impressed with the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, Brooks, what about you?
Yeah, like I really love the soundtrack in this one too. Like it's got I like the Rohirrim thing, with the violin like that. And you get more of like the kind of Uruk-hai theme with dum 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 dum. Yeah, it's like it keeps it adds like little themes as it goes along, and those are probably the two that I remember. Like Gollum's song is my least favorite of the the ending songs, but like it's just because I think it's because the lyrics are just such a downer. They're just like kind of this story of
that's what makes it good to me. I don't know what it is because that's him.
I'm literally like the only one who's never heard those fucking songs, man. This is crazy. Like, what the hell? I'm like, fuck, y'all didn't just turn it off and be like, all right, here we go. Like, gotta get up and stretch. Shit.
Well, like I said, like I've memorized like all three of these soundtracks, so I know like pretty much every bit of the score from these movies. Like, embedded into my skull for life. I couldn't forget them if I tried. Well, I could maybe I could take them off drugs. At that point, it's like why
come back eventually.
Fable, what do you think about the music?
Music continues to be great. All the themes from the first movie, all the new themes in the second movie, and all the variations of everything that's come before is fantastic. Standouts for me is when Aragorn is having his I forgot her name, but the elf girl that keeps visiting him in his dreams or whatever.
Arwen? Yeah,
Arwen. The music playing there is fantastic. And when Gandalf the White shows up at the end of the Battle of Helm's Deep, the music that plays.
That was sick, when they roast his that was a nice one. Your question about that, I'm glad you brought up Liv Tyler real quick. That they did like that whole when Aragorn got dragged off the cliff with that battle and he wakes up by the river or whatever. And they have like that. They have that Spider-Man kiss. I was confused by how it was cool shit, because he's like laying down, but she's hovering over him, but her hair's not like falling over him. You know, it was cool how they did that. I was like, how the fuck did they pull that off?
That is one thing I don't like in the movie. Is that whole like fake fucking death of Aragorn? We're like, we know he's not dead.
He's not dead.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a movie edition too. That didn't happen in the book.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
it does lead to the bit where the horse finds him, though. That's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's just like even when in the Dark Knight when they do that shit with Gordon, I'm just like, move the fuck on. I hate it.
But yeah, that final shot,
I will catch him. Oh,
that final shot where the camera pans over the mountain and you see Mordor. You see what's ahead, what's coming for you for part 3. You see the ice arm on the tower. The music that start playing there, and then the credits come in. It's like, fuck, that was epic as hell. this was crazy. So yeah, no, great music.
Hell yeah, Joe.
Yeah, no, there's really nothing to add. It's really good. Like again, all of it works really well as a piece. Like there's no duds. There's nothing that comes up where you're like, oh god, this song again, or like it all works. Like there's
It's
really
not like
nothing,
"Steal My Sunshine" by Lynn just starts playing randomly, and you're like, oh.
Great song. Great song.
You're an all-star.
but yeah, no, it's really great stuff. There.
Hell yeah.
Not
Link, what do you think?
I'm gonna keep it even shorter and sweeter and more elegant than Joe. This movie, this music is just as much a part of the movie as the characters. Like, you know, compared to other movies, you know, when you think of this movie, like you said, Robbie, this might be one of the greatest soundtracks for a trilogy ever. I can't debate that. Like, you know, this, like Joe said, this has no duds. This is because
let's be honest, most of the good trilogies actually outgrew the trilogy and became more. And but
yes, yeah.
If you really want to, but like,
so, yeah,
I like John Williams' Star Wars scores, but like, I don't think they're the greatest scores in cinema history. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
No, yeah.
I think Star Wars score.
Have you heard the
History?
waves in the Limey though?
And
you
his
didn't think
Indiana
though
Jones ain't so bad either.
it was really cool in Attack of the Clones where the love song was just the Imperial Death March backwards. That didn't blow your mind.
Yeah, I'm talking about the original trilogy, Joe. Come on, don't do that to me. Although that fate, whatever, that shit is pretty dope. Anyway,
you know, and the end song in Phantom Menace is the Emperor's theme sped up.
He's trying to clue you in.
Yeah, I will say this one thing about Star Wars, man. That moment when Luke is like looking out on the deserts of Tatooine, and the music swells up, and that theme, so good, so good. And Duel of the Fates from Phantom Menace is the shit.
What I just said.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. I didn't hear you.
Actually, love Phantom Menace.
Oh, Jar Jar Binks.
Link, did you continue thoughts? Did you have continued thoughts, or what did you? I don't remember.
Oh no, yeah, just it's fucking impeccable, like the rest of the film. Like it's fucking top notch, just like the acting, the production, the directing, the screenwriting, everything in this film, this trilogy.
Hell yeah. It's a character, is what you said, right? Hell yeah.
It's a character, yes.
All right, this movie's got some themes, some different themes, and some of the same themes. I want to know what you picked out of it. Jelani, what's this movie saying to you?
Cooperation is key. If these people didn't coordinate what their plan was going to be, you know, the whole Sauron coming back thing wouldn't happen. And it looks like it's clever planning. This movie was the war movie that everyone pretty much was on the same page. You have Sam and Frodo and Gollum heading slowly to Mordor. Their secret plan is to throw the ring into the fire. It's going on. It's ever constant. Frodo is always in peril because of the ring and what it's doing to him. And Sam is there to reel him in. They cooperate to get there, and they have to use, and Frodo uses his means to help manipulate Gollum into helping them get there. Now he genuinely wants to be his friend at the same time, and Smeagol knows this for a time until he's betrayed. He feels betrayed, and so he turns on them. It's such an epic story. It's so beautiful, and you get that with, but they're still cooperating. They're still moving forward. And Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli are on the track trying to find Merry and Pippin, and how they run into Rohan and the problems that they have at Helm's Deep to plan the defense of Helm's Deep, and how the orcs are slowly moving in. And I love that, how that builds up, and it's all cooperation and how they work together. And of course, Merry and Pippin. That's the best story of all. Fucking Merry and Pippin, this one, man. I love how they coordinate and come in at the last minute. Of course Gandalf is there for the first part, but then you see Treebeard and the other come in, and it's so much work to have all, like the A-Team says. I love it when a plan comes together. It's just
real quick. I just on that point, I think that, it's fair to say whichever one of these is your favorite amongst the trilogy, but I think, in terms of sequels, like, it can't be understated how crucial this one is, as like, like you might not have some of the best like the character moments of the first one or the super epic shit of the last one, but it's a nice blend of both of them. Like, you really couldn't have, it could be the third one would have popped off without this one, and people would have written the first one off as a fluke.
It'd be like watching a movie, and then all of a sudden, the middle 40 minutes is just gone.
Yeah.
That's what it'd be like. Where were we at? Brooks, what about you? What's this movie speaking to you, my friend?
Well, I think it's something that this movie touches on a little bit, is like the idea of, can Sauron be defeated? And not just like, in a physical manner, like, because, the ring is tied up to Sauron. And I think, like, I think what he did that was really brilliant was with Gollum, having him, fight against himself. Because I think, the dark Gollum is basically the aspect of Sauron that's in the ring. I think that's kind of what the corrupting influence is like Sauron, like, he corrupts the people who have the ring by basically, like, like showing them as themselves, but like, the worst parts of themselves. And, he brings that out. And like, it's like, Frodo, like, this movie, he gets like, he just keeps going downhill, man. He just gets worse and worse. Like, you feel so bad for him. Cause like, you can tell this thing is like just fucking him up bad. And like, I love that, he does say that thing, like, I have to believe that he can come back, because, because he knows, like, I have to believe that I can come back too. So it's like this idea of like, and like, the idea of Gollum, like, being like the way he breaks himself of it is, Frodo's trust being placed in him, believing that, he's found somebody he can, like, that he can care about outside of, like, the ring. It kind of breaks his selfishness a little bit, giving him somebody to care about. And that's why, like, I think the betrayal just like is just too much for him, like, and he just like, he can't come back from that. But, it's the idea is like, the Sauron can be fought even, like, in the ring. And like, it's just as important for that to be able to happen to be able to, get rid of the ring, because if Sauron takes over the ring bearer, like, that's it, Sauron's back pretty much. So yeah, it's like, in the first one's like, it's more about, like, who's like, the ring is like, it's this thing that can corrupt pretty much anybody. Even like, these Galadriel even could be corrupted by the ring, even though she's like this most powerful, like beautiful, like, she's like one of the best beings on this earth. But, and Gandalf, like, they're like, they can't handle the ring. They won't even try, because they know how it is. But like, it can be beaten. And I think that's kind of like the important part of this. And, that kind of spills over into the into the last movie a little bit. I think this one's where they kind of drop that seed of like, of Sauron maybe not being as powerful as he thinks he is. He's because he relies on corruption, on like taking the worst aspects of yourself. But as long as you have something to care about, something to hold on to, like you can reject him.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, I like that. What about you, Fable? What's this thing speaking to you?
I said the last one was about sacrifice. I think this one is about hope. Everybody wants to give up in this fucking movie. Everybody. And it's like this fight is too big. Everybody's too fucked up. We can't make it. This guy is too powerful. Everybody. I mean, even Legolas is like, what the fuck? Aragorn, we can't do this shit. You know what I mean? The king, we can't do this shit. The fucking Riders of Rohan, fuck the king. We can't do this shit. Like everybody wants to give up. Everybody. And everybody's given a slither of hope. And that's what makes everybody say, fuck it. Let's do it. Screw it. Even the elves, right? Like, we got to get out of here. Our time is over. It's like, nah, let's send in a fucking last battalion of elves to fight this thing, So everybody is given a slither of hope. Even Gollum, right? Because Gollum was resigned to being the creature that he was. And then when he felt like Elijah Wood, Frodo was giving him hope, right? He even went against his evil nature and was like, nope, not the master. He loves me, So, yeah, I think this whole movie is about hope.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I like that. And you just brought to my attention this Schmeagol, which is a name nobody's used that name in forever, right? And the way it hits him, right? And then another bit I love in the movie is when Aragorn calls Gandalf by name and he goes, yes, they used to call me that. Like to kind of show you what kind of his perspective is on where he was and what happened and how long he was. He went through the damn monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Basically, is what happened, dude. He came back a Star Child, man. that's what happened there. I like that though, man. Fable. What about you, Joe? What's this movie saying to you?
For me, this movie in particular, probably more so than the others, is really stressing not picking a side is picking a side. And that's a lesson they're learning throughout. And it's a lesson that cuts both ways. I mean, when the elves do come to help, that's the elves picking a side. But also when the guards choose to not help Brad Dourif, that was them picking Theoden. Like there's multiple moments of that, and it's the most clear with Treebeard and all of that nonsense. Like that's the more they're just telling you straight up, but that is a theme throughout the movie.
Absolutely. I really like that, man. I never really thought about it, but you're right. 100%. What about you, Link?
A lot of themes for such a great epic layer movie. I'm gonna go with riffing off the last week, the first movie. I think it's still standing tall in the face of adversity and how that can inspire others, and it can be a domino effect. There's many examples in this movie where just in terms of Aragorn inspiring the king to make that last ride out that drew them enough time to have Gandalf show up and save their asses. Gimli, when the tower first got blown up, Aragorn's like knocked unconscious and shit, and Gimli just hops off the fucking ledge into the fucking trolls, and he's like squaring off one on against hordes of them at first. Gives them enough time for them to gain their senses, and it's a lot of just when them jumping on the bridge when the door gets busted. It's a lot of like last hope. Fuck it, let's do it. That gives other people inspiration. Like fuck it, we got to do it if they're doing it. Standing tall in the face of adversity. I think that's a core theme throughout this movie, or this trilogy. But I'm gonna go with that for this one.
Hell yeah, well spoken by all here on the panel. What I'll go with it's something that I think all these themes are very prevalent in all three of the movies, right? Because it is one story, right?
Yeah.
And this is prevalent in all of the movies, but I think to me it really hits home in this one in particular. It's kind of like the dangers of unchecked industrialization on society and on the environment, right? With the raising of all of the forests around Isengard. Now he's looking to Fangorn. He's like, tear it all down, burn it all. That's the fuel we need. We got to fuel this war machine. We got to keep it going, right? And we know that Tolkien's experiences in World War I believe, has a profound effect on this movie, as well as a lot of his friends and on their work, like C.S. Lewis and others, right? And to see a battlefield that used to be like this beautiful piece of land, and how prophetic is it of Tolkien to kind of put this in there, intentional or not, I don't know, because I know he didn't really like the idea of metaphor and things like that, right? But they're ravaging nature to like fuel this war that's literally just decaying everything. Like, something that's very interesting about Middle Earth in Lord of the Rings to me is how, where are the elves fleeing to? They're going to the west, right? The Undying Lands. They're out there. Everything is they're that's the golden land, right? The further east you go, and apparently in the lore, life started in the east and crept into the west, but like, so it's like it's old and decayed and decrepit. And you see that in the journey that they're taking. You see everything from the Shire through Rivendell and Lothlorien, and now the beautiful land of Rohan that we're now seeing being demolished and devastated. We're seeing the devastation of Gondor. You know, you're seeing all this shit. And then to cap it all off, Mordor and the surrounding area, right? And what is
Mordor's like the final result.
Yeah.
Like, just a ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an interesting idea, but I think it is about that. And it's about that spread of like just ambition for power, just for the sake of power. And like, industrialization is a good thing, but unchecked, when it's not about caring about the balance between a society and their environment, that's when shit gets really, really out of whack, right? Let's be honest. Best life anybody's got in any of these fucking movies is probably the Shire, dude. Who doesn't want to live like that, dude? Just eating like 6 times a day, drinking lots of beer and shit like that. Fuck yeah, that sounds great, man. Let's do that. All right, time to rate this movie. You out there in the chat, let us know out of 5 you digs. What do you rate The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers? Jelani, kick us off here on the panel.
Well, like I said, it's been said since the beginning that this is my favorite of the three. It's a well-paced, well-balanced film. I still have to watch Return of the King again to make my final decision, but I'm still going to stick with my original decision because I saw this 3 times in theater. My butt was numb the entire time. The theatrical versions, and the second I got this DVD set, I watched all of them at once. It was just a day where I watched all of them, and the butt was numb. So this is a 5.69.
All right.
It's everything you want. It is the Empire Strikes Back of trilogies. It goes hard and it keeps going.
Maybe we should start saying Empire Strikes Back is The Two Towers.
True. Very true. Because it's that clean. It's so and this is the funny part. It's in the early 2000s. So like that we're still kind of pure. It is a turn. It all hadn't turned really real. I mean, you know, not when we're
still in the Shire.
We're still in the Shire.
Maybe between Shire and Bree.
Mordor. We're in Mordor now. It's full on Mordor.
I think we're in Osgiliath right now, man.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Hell yeah, a perfect score plus a little bit of extra love from Jelani. What about you, Brooks?
Well, surprise, surprise. I'll give it a 5. You know, it's weird because like before I did this rewatch, I probably would have said The Two Towers was my least favorite, but I don't know. Now on this watching, it's tough, man. because like they're all so like, of the same quality. But yeah, like, it's a great movie. Like, I love, the character building. Like, it's just, it's Lord of the Rings. I mean, that's all I can say. It's Lord of the Rings.
Hell yeah. What about you, Fable?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a favorite per se. I think all three of these movies are taken as one big, giant, great story.
Yeah.
That starts real small and ends real big. And this is the kind of thing that I love. This is the middle part of it. I do feel it's darker, and I love it for being darker. I love it for not only holding my expectations of what, the second movie would be, but also shattering all those expectations. And not only that, but as a big film nut, as we all are on the panel who love the technical side of things, I was just amazed at Golem and all this, the sets and the fucking, miniatures and all that shit just like held my attention so much that made me pour over these special features on these DVDs when they came out. I think I watched that shit more than the movie though.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Those special features.
Special features.
And also a testament to this extended cut stuff. I think I've watched these extended cuts more than the original cuts of the movie, where I don't even know where the extensions are anymore. I don't know where it extends anymore because I don't know
These are the definitive.
Yeah,
versions.
right. Like I can't remember the original cuts of these movies. This is the cut for me.
Meanwhile, with The Hobbit, we're like, no, we don't need to extend it.
No, not at all.
No.
One movie.
So yeah, man, being that it's one part of one giant story that I absolutely love. It of course it continues to be a 5.
Hell yeah. 5s across the board so far. Joe, I think I know where this is going. What do you think?
Yeah, it'd be weird to not give this a 5. So it's a 5.
Hell yeah.
Fair enough.
Link?
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna break the habit. This is 5. I mean, yeah, this, like I said, this can be understated. I saw someone comment earlier, which is totally understandable, that this is definitely their least favorite of the 3. But if you're looking at examples of trilogies and there's just the follow-up movie and how crucial that it is to keeping the identity, or like, just, I don't know, this is, this should not be understated how successful or well-crafted this is as a middle entry, a sequel. And it is the overall just largest part of the one story, but that's an easy 5.
Last year I had a blast revisiting the Back to the Future trilogy. That was fun. Oh, yeah. That was real fun.
That was good.
A couple years before that, I had a good time going through the Godfather trilogy. Well, had a good time revisiting Godfather and Godfather 2. And I didn't mind revisiting Godfather 3 because I actually kind of liked that movie a little bit. But I bought that fucking second version, The Death of Michael Corleone, and it's literally the same fucking movie. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, this is a definitive cut. Why? Because the title's different? What the fuck? Like, a couple lines are different. I was so pissed off at that, man. I was so fucking mad. I literally watched the same fucking movie. I watched the worst Godfather movie one night and then watched it again the fucking next night, dude. It was just like no difference. I was told a lie. That's why you're fucking broke, Coppola. All right? That's why. Shit like that. Anyway.
Megalopolis.
Lord of the Rings tops all of this shit, man. This has been fucking splendid. Like, I knew I liked these movies, but I didn't realize how much I loved these movies. And Brooks, do you remember when I first got into this stuff? When these movies came out, you got me The Hobbit and I read it. And then you got me Lord of the Rings. Guess what? I started fucking reading Fellowship last week because I was home from work sick. I made it through like fucking 100-something pages the first fucking day. I haven't been able to have a lot of time to go back since. But right now they're about to leave Tom Bombadil's house, or Bombadil. So like a lot of controversy because he wasn't in these movies. After reading that sequence now, I'm like, why does anybody fucking care? It does nothing to the fucking story. Like, it's just a weird little fucking eccentric bit that happens on the way on the road, like whatever. Yeah. He saves them. from that creepy forest. Anyway, I'm fucking enjoying it. I've been diving deep into like fucking Middle Earth lore on YouTube. All my YouTube is like, I found this YouTube channel called Nerd of the Rings, bro.
Yeah.
I've been doing the
diving in.
same. I'm not gonna hold you up.
I'm diving.
bro.
I know what
I've
the fuck
been-
Numenor is now, dude. I didn't know what the fuck Numenor was a week ago, man.
Because I'm like, why? I had to look up why the elves are trolling. Why did like when it's the Valinor? Like, what is Valinor? What is the different? You know, what is the overall Middle Earth world? Is it just a continent? I had to do a deep.
What is Gandalf the White? Why is he white? Is different from being the gray?
What do you mean? He's not a human. Wait, I thought they were humans, just wizards.
Yeah,
Wait a second. Wait a
Gandalf's
second.
an angel, dude.
Guess what my crazy ass did? I bought the Silmarillion and I bought Unfinished Tales, man. They showed up yesterday. They're in my house now. So you just wait and see, motherfucker. I might become a Tolkien expert, or I might just sit on my shelf for 25 years like Lord of the Rings did until I finally cracked it open.
Nothing else. You have a conversation piece.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, so of course, 5U digs. 5U digs across the board for a PCP average of 5. We love it. It's great. And I'm almost sad to see this come to an end, this love fest.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think this love fest is going to continue.
We should cover
long.
Habit.
Oh man, maybe. I've never seen the last one, so that would be interesting. But of course, next week brings a close to the Lord of the Rings journey with the Return of the King. So join us for that Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Join me for a conversation with Joshua Williamson. He's got a new Iron Man title coming out. He's killing it over at DC on Superman, DCKO Night Fight, things like that. I'm a big fan of Joshua as a person. I think he's super cool. We've had him on the channel before, so I'm excited to have him on again. So definitely check that out. And yeah, 4.5 hours for the extended cuts of this one, baby. 4.5 hours. Let's fucking go. I remember this is the one thing I remember about Return of the King. I remember being in theater and being like, I love it, but god damn, it has too many endings. Then I remember watching the extended cut and being like, they added more fucking endings. Fuck. Anyway, very excited, man, because that's the one I probably have seen the least, obviously, because of how many times I would have watched Fellowship and Two Towers. That's the movie we just talked about. Anyway, Return of the King next week. Jelani, thank you for being here. Final thoughts. What you got coming up?
Yeah, man. Super glad to be here. Love Lord of the Rings, man. I'm glad we're doing these. This was a good choice. Makes me feel good inside. You know what else makes me feel good inside? The lovely thing that Brooks and I do, which is called Go Figure Reviews. We review toys. We do a show and tell and do some stuff. We're going to do a whole bunch of other stuff starting tomorrow. We'll start filming one of our basically show and tell of things like you mentioned before, Robbie, the figures and stuff that we don't review that are like super cheap. So we're going to talk about that. We also did a couple videos. The first one we did was the Death Bird and Gladiator.
Yeah.
We got thoughts. We got thoughts. Death Bird is amazing. Guardians, okay. But watch the video and see what we rated. It's pretty cool. And we also had another video of the Juggernaut from Gamerverse from Marvel Legends. This figure is also awesome in a lot of different ways. The accessory there that's on his hand, it took us forever to figure out how to get that on his hand. And we tell you in the video what happened because it was a pain in the ass. So check us out. Go Figure Reviews.
Check out Go Figure Reviews, everybody. They got great content if you like toys. What about you, Brooks? Final thoughts?
Well, I guess if I go throw out a quote, I'll throw out my favorite Treebeard quote. That makes no sense to me. But then again, you are very small.
Yes.
That's the perfect way to wrap up there. What about you, Fable Man? Thank you so much for joining us on this journey to Mordor, to Mount Doom. Final thoughts.
Thanks for having me, as always. Love doing these movie reviews with you guys. Catch me here again next week for the final glazing of the trilogy. Yeah, man. if you want to catch me on my gram, man. _collection_down, and do a bunch of posts there that are pretty cool. 30 sets up Saturday, Figgy Friday. And if you're on Facebook, I got a toy group called the Toy Chest, which I love being a part of and seeing everybody's collection. So you guys are into action figures, toys, like Go Figure Reviews, go check them out and check us out at the Toy Chest on Facebook.
Hell yeah, I like that. I didn't know about the Toy Chest. I have to
Yes,
jump in
sir.
on that. What about you, Joe? Final thoughts. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. I'm also on Instagram at Corallo Joe, spelled there but reversed. And you can see me posting about recent projects. You can still grab a bunch of my stuff at Mad Cave's website. You could get Dahlia in the Dark. You could get Beckstar. You could get King Arthur and the Knights of Justice volumes 1 and 2. And I have some other stuff in the works. I just put in the order for the comics to fulfill the Kickstarter I ran over the summer, so I'll be getting those in soon. I already have the stickers, and they just shipped the bookmarks and the prints. So that's all coming together. So that'll be out there soon as well.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Link, thank you so much. What you got coming up? Final thoughts?
Of course. If you enjoy my insight and want to indulge on my takes, this Thursday we'll be covering weapons over at Blood Splatter Chatter with Brother Verno, Blood Splatter Chatter, and Stu, Dr. Doom's fan club. And then Friday I'll be joining Brother Mark, Geeks Unleashed, for covering the Adventures of Superman, which I have not seen yet. So I'll be grinding that out and giving my thoughts this Friday.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Check out Go Figure Reviews. Check out One Collection Down. Check out Joe Corallo and his work. Check out Missing Link and Geeks Unleashed and all that stuff. And join us here next week for Lord of the Rings Return of the King Extended Edition on PCP Movie Night. I've been Rockin' Robbie Bills, and my final thoughts is, do you guys think that somewhere down the road they'll be telling stories about that time 6 guys got together, went through the Lord of the Rings movies week by week? Yeah, me neither.
They all